Now we're going to talk about the dudes that want to portray themselves as special and unique and different and more deserving of than other dudes because they are a self-proclaimed good black man or nice guy. Now let's talk about this game because they be running this game a lot. What women, when you get older and have been around the block 25 and 112 times, you understand that there's a big difference between the dude who says he's a good guy or a nice guy and the one who actually is. What I have found in my experience is the ones who are about something don't announce it. They don't run up and tell you that they're a good dude and try to get brownie points for that shit. They don't talk about it, they be about it. And that is the key difference. So many women listen to the bullshit that be coming from men's mouths, and you don't pay attention to, are they backing up what they're talking about? If they're not backing it up in a way that you can relate to and that are comfortable with, then that is a big red flag, and you need to pay attention to that. So what I have found is, they try to come up to you with, spouting this "I'm a good black man" thing. I treat women well. I'll do this and that for my lady. They got all this whole spiel. The trick is where they're trying to get you to buy into, what he's saying that he will do allegedly for you if you get involved in a relationship with him. And they try to make it seem like, they're so different and that, most dudes aren't nice guys. But when you ask them, well, what does that really mean? I mean, what's that look like as far as how you treat me, what I feel like when I'm in a relationship with you? They're going to hit you with some standard spiel bullshit. And what the guys, who really are going to treat you that way, they almost start off with it like almost instantly. They don't look to reward you with gentlemanly behaviors based on how you treat them or what you're dressed like or how your hair is or what you weigh or how old you are or anything like that. They are a gentleman 24/7, 365, and they treat everyone that way. That is one of the good screening techniques. Like if you go out to dinner with a dude and he's like, oh, I'm a nice guy. And, you should trust me. I'm a nice guy. That means don't trust shit that he says after that. That's what that really means. But let's talk about the conversation. So you notice, he's being all attentive and everything, which is what you would expect from a guy who truly is a nice guy. But then the waiter's not getting there fast enough for him. He gonna shout out to the dude, all rude and obnoxious. Or when the waiter does come to the table, he's gonna, read the dude. Or if something happens with his order, he's gonna be all fucked up about it instead of being polite and, diplomatic because the waiters don't cook the food. You know what I mean? So if the kitchen messed it up, that's not the waiter's fault unless they took the order wrong. But so to go off on the waiter is really inappropriate, and to go off in front of your date after you just claimed that you this super nice dude, you're sending a mixed message there. So you ladies need to pay attention. They do the same thing with parking lot attendants, valets, the bus boys. I mean, anybody who they come in contact with while you're on the date, you need to pay attention to how he treats those people that he considers beneath him. Because if he's put himself on a pedestal where he thinks he's all great, grand, and wonderful, and he's a good black man or he's a nice guy, that means that you're beneath him too. Don't get the shit twisted. Don't think that he sees you as anything more special than anybody else. So, that's one way they do it. Then you hear, like you see this a lot in the street harassment issues. Or if you decide you don't want to see a dude anymore, then you see this whole new side of him, right? He was a nice guy up until you rejected him. Oh, now his inner fool comes out. Now he turns around and he's going to hit you with, well, bitch, you was lucky that I even talked to your ugly, fat, stinking ass anyway. That's why I hate black nigger bitches, blah, 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 blah. I've actually heard guys in Oakland say, go off on the young girls who didn't really want to give him the time of day. Some old ass man in his 30s trying to holler at a 15 or 16-year-old. Of course she's not going to talk to your crusty ass. But then they, turn around and call her all kind of names because she didn't. Most likely because she's terrified. You old enough to be her goddamn daddy. What the hell? And so, I've seen that. What else am I was I lost my train of thought. Okay, oh, the other one. The nice guys. You say, okay, well, what makes you so nice? What makes you such a good black man? They'll start rattling off some basic shit. Well, I graduated from high school and I got my own car and I got my own place and I have a job. Okay. I mean, that's like the bare minimum required for adulthood. So you meet the bare minimum standards, the bottom of the barrel standards, and you want to puff your chest out like you've done something unique and special? And nigga, where's your Pulitzer? And you know what I mean? What awards have you gotten for civic duties? What award, you got any bonuses from work for coming up with some fantastic new ideas? Have you written a book? Have you done anything besides go to work, come home in the car that you still paying for? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just basic shit. But they want all rounds of applause and to be given extra kudos and extra attention and feel like they're entitled to women. And that is the key when they guys start flipping you with this good black man and this Mr. Nice Guy game. They are actually feeling entitled to your time and your attention because they want it, because they feel like, because they meet this checklist of items in their head of what a good guy, a nice guy or a good black man is, that you're supposed to reward them for that. They should get what they want from you for that. And it's like with no concern about what your standards are for considering a guy a nice guy or a good black man. They don't care about that. They're going by what they think. And I'm like, well, unless you're going to date yourself, and fuck yourself and marry yourself, then your opinion about what is a nice guy and a good black man is irrelevant. It's about what women think. And one of the chief things is they be looking like a Gila monster. Okay, it's like, it's one thing to be a nice guy and just be, kind of average. Most people are, kind of in the middle. They're not hideous, but they're not, model material either. They might have some qualities that are really nice, like, pretty hair or nice muscle development or great cheekbones, beautiful eyes. I mean, everybody's got their, well, okay, not everybody. Oh, most people have at least one thing about themselves that, could be considered attractive or interesting or, something like that. But if you have somebody that waddles up to you and, has breath that smells like it came from the nearest dump, they are, just uncouth in their approach. I don't know, these guys, they give out like this icky air. I can't even really just explain it, but I know all you ladies know what I'm talking about because you've met guys like this. They have the presentation initially, but it's just something about them that just, makes you leery, and it just gives off the sleaze kind of energy so that you feel real on guard around them. And then, of course, you don't want nothing to do with them and you reject them. And they see it as you rejecting them because they're a nice guy, when in reality you rejected them because they give you the creeps or they say something inappropriate. A lot of them are very socially awkward. Or they come on too strong and they just make you feel like they're a fucking stalker. Or they have some innate sexism and misogyny that creeps up in conversation, because of this entitlement thing that they have to women. Those words will come out. So there's a lot of behaviors that they do and say that will kind of alert you to the fact that there's an undercurrent of nastiness about this dude, and he's not as nice as he either projects himself to be or perceives himself to be. It's hard to say because a lot of them are just straight up delusional, and they think they are, because they're comparing themselves to dudes who are underneath the bottom of the barrel, like dudes that just got out of prison and don't have shit, or drug addicts, or the chronically unemployed living in the homeless on the street. I mean, they look over there and they compare themselves to those dudes, and then they feel like they have achieved nirvana or something. They at the pinnacle of manhood and every woman should want them. When in reality, they need to turn and look the other direction and compare themselves to like the Obamas or some dudes on those levels, and you will see how short you fall, and how if you want to be truly perceived as a good black man and a nice guy, you gonna prove it with your actions. You're not gonna. No woman's gonna have to be listening to the drivel that you talking. Okay, a lot of these dudes think if they just are like just basic human, decent people. Like things like opening doors for women. I've gotten into debates with dudes online. I'm a nice dude, but I ain't gonna be giving out my nicest to just any bitch. I open the doors for bitches and they didn't even say thank you. Okay, but you know what? You don't open the door for women to say anything to you. You open the door for other people because you're a polite human being. And you wouldn't single out women whose ass is fat to open the door for. You would open it for old people, men and women. You would open it for men carrying their babies in a stroller and this kind of thing. You would open it for single mothers woman, she's single by herself, nobody's helping her. Walking down the street and she got, kid in a stroller and one on the side. Well, it's kind of hard to get those through those doors into, department stores or grocery stores and stuff. So you would keep the door open to make sure everybody got through the door safely. I mean, that's the kind of person who is a considerate individual. They're not looking for a fucking, what they call a Scooby snack because they did something that normal people would do anyway. And you guys want a reward for it. The other thing that the nice guys do, they say they're so nice, they're kind of weird with their approaches to female bodies. Because they're so sex starved, because nobody don't want to hardly go out with them, let alone screw them. They just are kind of wild to have some, physical contact with a woman, and definitely to have sex. And they just do too much. They're like all over you, like you say there's a snack bar or something, and he'll ask you, can I get you something to eat? Well, you say no because you don't want to eat that nasty shit that people have been breathing on and coughing into and touching. You don't want to eat that. He gonna come and bring you some anyway, and then when you he sits it there, then he's gonna be trying to pressure you to eat it when you already told him you didn't want any. I saw a situation like that in a restaurant one time at Kincaid's in Oakland. You could tell the people were on a date because had just met each other because they were a little bit too awkward. And the way that they came in, she didn't like hug him or anything. She shook his hand and said her name, and so that's how I knew it was probably one of them internet dates or something. So she sits down, and at Kincaid's, for those who don't live in the Oakland area, it's a very nice restaurant down in Jack London Square, and they have this great view of the estuary, and it's just really nice and a very panoramic, nice view of Oakland and its water. So they sit down, and they're across the aisle from me. I'm in the side by the window. And they start looking at the menu, and the guy says, I recommend the fish. So the girl, she's looking at her menu without looking up. She says, I don't really like fish. I'm going to get something else. So here he goes. Now, normal person, not knowing why she doesn't like fish. I mean, maybe she's allergic and send her to the hospital. He didn't even ask. He's like, you should try the fish, though. It's really good. And so now she puts her menu down and looks at him, right? And I'm watching all this because I'm nosy. Like I said, everywhere I go, I observe people. And so I'm looking at this exchange with great curiosity to see how she was going to handle it. And dude, is oblivious to the fact that she's getting irritated. So he's just going on and on about this goddamn fish. And she's like, I told you I don't like fish. So I'm going to probably get a steak. So she lifts her menu back up. Dude, now he puts his menu down all the way on the table, and he's looking at her. Well, you could get a steak anytime, anywhere. This is a great seafood restaurant. You should have some seafood. So now she puts her menu down on the table, and she says, I told you I don't like fish. I don't want any fish. And that's how she was saying it, right, in that kind of speed. So then he gets an attitude. Well, you don't have to get like that. I was just trying to make you have a nice dinner out, and try something different for a change. You just want to be stuck in the rut. Okay, so now, not only was he trying to push his agenda down her throat, his menu choices, when she already said it wasn't what she liked, that's what he likes. So now then he's going to insult her and demean her choices. Now, see, were she me, I would have said, you know what, fuck you in this restaurant, and I would have got up and left. But she, she was good. She just ordered her little steak, and, they went on to have a little date. But I'm sure she didn't see him again because he didn't handle that right. He showed her absolutely no respect, and that yet when he goes away and she doesn't talk to him anymore, She gonna be every kind of nigga bitch that there was, who don't appreciate a good black man, and only want to date a thug, and some nobody, he spent all his money taking her out, and how she didn't appreciate it, blah 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 blah. When in reality, he totally disrespected her, showed himself to be a controlling asshole, and demeaned and insulted her, all within 10 minutes of her getting there. So, these guys, I don't really think they really understand what it means to be a good whatever man. But you'll be purple with pink polka dots. I don't really care about the color. I'm talking about the behavior. And, they get into this thing where they want to say that, compare themselves to other guys. But, the women never choose me, nice guys like me. Um, you know, I deserve love. I deserve sex, but they don't want to give anything like that to guys like me and nice guys. They only want to give it to them thugs and dudes, and then that they're gonna leave with babies, and then after they all run through and have a bunch of kids, then they want to get with us. Please, you delusional. Didn't nobody want your tired, funky ass. They didn't want you when you was younger because you was stupid, and they don't want when you older because now you're just old and stupid. So, I mean, and then a lot of them are just, they, like I said, they look like a Oompa Loompa. And up there, coming in the door talking about, well, I'm a nice guy. There's no sexual energy coming from him at all. There's nothing that would entice a woman to want to touch him, kiss him, hold his hand, or sleep with him. And they seem to get into this thing where they think this being this nice dude or this quote good black man is like a band-aid to solve all problems, and that's all that they have to be, is this thing that they perceive themselves to be. And that if you don't buy into it, then there's something wrong with you. And it doesn't matter. I mean, a guy could be, I know I have a lot of friends who think their dudes are handsome, or, they see guys in movies or whatever, and they think he's good looking. And I'm looking at him like, okay, you need glasses, obviously, because he is ugly. So, what each woman has in her mind that attracts her is going to be different. If you don't turn her on, it doesn't matter how nice you think you are or how good you think you are. You don't do it for her, and she's not going to give you the time of day. And you don't earn it, or she doesn't owe it to you because you think, because you're nice, that she's under some obligation to give you what you want because you perceive yourself to be a good guy. It doesn't work like that. Another way they give themselves away, they think they so good and they think they so nice. If you hear any dude talk about women, he calls them females instead of ladies or women, or if he's real young, they might be girls. He's a little teenager, whatever. They're probably that's girls. They're not women yet. But he refers to black females, which I'm covering all ages of the female gender when I use that term. But they say females with this derogatory enunciation. And you know what I'm talking about. Saying, black female, Asian female, Caucasian female, Alaskan female. That's different. They're saying females, these females, okay, you can feel the venom. And that is how they refer to women. And it comes across very nastily. And if they refer to any exes, or they start telling you about how women mistreated them, and how the other women in his life before you came along were the reasons why he's bitter and angry at women, and that they've caused the relationship to break up, and he takes no responsibility for his role in it, that's somebody you need to kind of back away from. I'm not saying leave alone. Somebody has pointed out to me, you just telling people that they shouldn't, it just makes it sound like you just want everybody to be single. And I'm like, I wanted to tell her, you're about the dumbest bitch ever. But I was polite, and I said, that is not at all what I'm saying. What I'm warning you against is choosing to be with someone who is ultimately going to destroy you versus being single. Now, you have a choice. You can be healthily single and happily single, or you can be mentally and emotionally destroyed and in a relationship with one of these sick fucks that I'm talking about in this video series. That's your choice. You don't do what the hell you want to do. But, I am merely trying to point out some of the toxic games that are being played out there, and the ways that you guys can have your emotions and your minds and your wallets, of course, too, manipulated by guys who really are not about anything. They run scams. they are pretending to be something that you want when they really aren't. So what I'm trying to do is give you the tools so that as you go back out into the dating world, you can kind of reference these things I'm saying and make smarter choices. That's the whole point. I'm not saying you can never be with a man. What I'm saying is get with a dude who's about something. Don't get with these knuckleheads. Okay? Now, in case that was like anybody missed that, I hope that makes this whole thing clear. All right? Another thing that these allegedly nice guys and good black men do is get mad. They'll get mad a lot. Um, they get angry because they want you to do what they want you to do based on the fact that they're this quote nice guy. Um, he would say stuff like, um, okay, so he'll say he does something, right? And you don't really like it, and you say, um, that's really mean, or, that's really not a very nice thing to say, or, you just being a dick. And he just goes like all to Alaska with it, getting all serious, and, he starts asking for explanations. He wants you to break down how he's mean and how he's a dick. And it's like, figure it out. I mean, if I say it and it's true, then you figure out what you just did or what you just said that I didn't like, because that's on you to figure out. You're an adult here. I'm not your mama to break down your behavior, to every nuance of your behavior. That's for you to figure out. But if it's my responsibility to tell you how what you did or what you said makes me feel, it's your responsibility to correct the behavior or not. But it's not for me to nag you about it or explain it to you in detail. You do the work, or I'll just leave you alone. That's always another option. You will find that the nice guys, they'll hit you with that nice guy game, but then they start putting the mash on you, like they get too touchy-feely. The real player types dudes don't do that. They have a different agenda. They let you come to them. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. They don't be all up on you. Them thirsty dudes, they be trying to come up like, they're such power players. They're really not. Any dude who texts you a zillion times, calls you a zillion times, all up in your face, sending you dick pictures online, all this old stuff, those motherfuckers are thirsty as all hell, like parched thirsty. And, they try to act like they're so nice and they're so decent. They're really not. And, a guy who comes on really strong like that, especially if you ask him to slow down or you say that you're not comfortable with certain behaviors and he continues to do it anyway. And then if you get upset, well, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm a nice guy. Again, with the disrespect of your boundaries. He's got his own agenda. And what they're doing is pushing towards sex, even though they try to pretend like they aren't. That's exactly what they're doing. So it's like you are talking, but they don't listen. You say what you like, what you don't, and they don't hear it. You say, well, I want you to stop doing such and such and such. He just ignores it like you haven't said anything at all. Yet he proclaims to be a good black man or a nice guy. So, you guys got to be very careful about that. Watch the ones who get upset if they don't get what they want. Watch the ones who, you talk, they ask you questions and you give them answers, but they don't really hear it. They're not really paying attention because they all on their own agenda. And they tend to move the relationships along really, really fast too, because they just want to, get to the good stuff. More so, right in line with the player types of dudes. Some of these guys will complain because, like I said earlier, you're not really attracted to them physically. So, but maybe you guys got something in common. You both geeks or something. You both into anime. I don't know, whatever people do these days, these young folks. And, so, you don't mind him being in your friend circle, but there's no romantic interest. He is going to just get so upset about that. Oh my God. They start with why won't you give me a chance? You be giving them other dudes a chance because you made the mistake of telling him, your business about some other relationships. And now he expects the same thing, And you opened your big mouth and told too much of your business. So now he's, all mad because you won't give him a chance and you won't do this freaky thing with him that you did when you were 17 in college, and all the stuff. So he starts putting the mash on you to behave in ways that you really don't want to do. And he tries to guilt trip you into it by using that, but I'm a good black man, I'm a nice guy routine. What you will also notice about these dudes, like a guy who's seriously a nice guy, he'll do stuff for people that's nice, and he won't feel the need to go running around talking about it or throwing it in your face, all the time. The ones who are the perpetrators will constantly remind you of the nice things that they did for you. It's like you just can't live it down, and it's like they keep some kind of scale where they're looking for you to give back to them, sexually usually, to match what they gave you, usually materialistically. It's very interesting to kind of watch them. He basically is, I don't know, it's basically they feel like their niceness is some kind of like a product to be traded for your body. It's a commodity used to buy your attention, your affection, your loyalty, your time. It's because I say that I'm a nice guy, you owe me. And that is the major thing that they try to use to manipulate you into jumping through some hoops for them. And you guys need to watch out for that. And the last thing I want to point out is, how they say nice guys finish last, and the brothers be like, they only want thugs, and they, the bad boys, and blah blah blah. They don't like us regular dudes, and it's like, I think if you guys made an effort to be more interesting and to be more attractive, like hit the gym, change your wardrobe, get your mind right, because your conversation is weak. And the stuff that you want to talk to women about, it makes them feel a little off. You're just off. There's something socially awkward about you, and you might really perceive yourself to be nice, in your mind, but with the way that you come off to women it just makes them not want to be around you. I can't think of the words that I want to use right now, but they just back up from you, and that you don't feel safe. And if you listen to some other videos, I talked about women's need for safety and security. And when they're around you, the way that you come off is all creepy and weird. It makes women not want to get close to you and not really trust you because of how you come off. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The Mr. Nice Guy and this Mr. I'm a good black man routine. Those are some of the most manipulative, cunning, backstabbing little bitch ass men that you have ever met in your life. Every dude who has ever announced that to me has always been a punk ass little bitch ass fucker. And it's like, I don't want to, so if they say it now or just even hint at it, I'm gone. I mean, we're not even gonna finish the date. One day I'm gonna do a video to talk about all the dates I got up and walk the fuck out on. It would be quite entertaining for all of you. I probably should do that. You'd be laughing as much as I did. But anyway, in conclusion, I also want to thank everyone for watching this series, devoting your time to watching them, because each one is getting a little longer than the one before. I also want to address the people who were upset about the amount of profanity that I use in my videos. And they say, you cuss too much. So this graphic will explain how I feel about that, and I hope that responds to all of those who might want to send me an email or a message on YouTube or whatever, on a message on the blog, and complain about the profanity that I use. I was born cussing, I will die cussing, and everything in between will be as many cuss words as I can fit in my mouth. There you go. That's how that's gonna work. My name is Deborrah Cooper. I am the advice columnist on survivingdating.com. Putting together this series is video number 17 in the Manipulative Shit Black Men Say to Make Black Women Jump Through Hoops series. Our goal here is to get up to, 20, 21, maybe 22, depends, videos before the end of this month. And I hope that you all enjoy them. If you have any comments, just list them below. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another great video. Bye bye.